What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new rebuild. And today it is going to be all about Liverpool, the mighty Reds, and we are going to be using the onslaught tactic we posted on the main channel from a couple days back, and of course 0 signings in that first window. Now if you are a Patreon member, you would have seen this and got the rebuild files about 2 days ago, so if you are interested you can go over and get this rebuild file and the tactic all for your simple pleasure. And also I'm going to throw in a little challenge at the end of the video. Be sure to leave a like on this rebuild and subscribe to this rebuild channel. But let's get into the end of season 1. We're spicing things up today. No holding about today. We're going to go right into a cup final, and that is going to be against Manchester United, where we actually, I'm going to not spoil the scoreline, but for any Liverpool fans, let's just say you're going to be having a smile on your face, because we're going to be 2-0 up inside of 43 minutes, and we don't stop there. We carry on winning it back from Anthony, Szoboszlai into Endo, into Salah, into the bottom right hand corner. Beautiful finish, and we just carry on. Salah into Trent, into Endo, into Robertson, who plays it into Diaz to make it 4, and yeah, there's time for one more goal. Trent into Endo, ball over the top, into Jota, back inside McAllister, a 5-0 final. Do you know what? We didn't win it, but not a bad display in the Champions League. A semi-final appearance to only lose by 1 goal against Bayern. Of course, if we actually look into the final, it is going to be Bayern that won it against RB Leipzig, but credit to RB Leipzig for getting to that stage. Also going to lift the Carabao Cup 3-1 against Arsenal, so far so good, and we actually complete the season with a Premier League title. Now this is the issue when using my tactics, because they are so, I'm not just being funny, but this one's very good. They're very good tactics, and we absolutely cook, but the challenge is not done, because I want to rebuild this Liverpool team more as a squad for the future and win another Champions League. So that's the main aim, of course. As you can see, we actually win it quite convincingly, only losing 2 games, and if we go into the stats, we are going to pretty much dominate every single stat line. So for season 1, an incredible first season, and I mean an incredible first season, one that we can be proud of. And the players, again, we made 0 signings, but as you can see, Mo Salah with 41 goals, the man that is probably going to be leaving at the end of next season in real life, a big loss for them. Darwin Núñez, 39, I'm going to talk about this guy a little bit, because he's actually really good on this game, and I'm going to try and keep him for the entire rebuild. Diaz comes in with 20, 18 for McAllister, 17 for Jota, Kanate with 10. Really good stat lines. 30 assists for Mo Salah, 29 for Robertson, Szoboszlai with 24, 18 for Diaz, Trent with 16, 14 for McAllister, Núñez with 10. A real good set of stats from all of these wonderful players. And for season 1, I'm going to take a treble and absolutely run for the hills. Now we have been given a budget of 130, more than that, 155 million pounds to actually go and spend, and we have got players we can also go and sell. These players can consist of the likes, maybe, we're looking at the contract situation on these lads. Obviously, Mo Salah, do we keep him? Do we have him on for another season? We'll see what we decide to do, because that would be big money. He's valued at around 44 million. If a Saudi team comes in, we're talking more 70 million. Let's just be realistic. Van Dijk's another one that is a little iffy. Alisson, I want to keep in the game. He probably will go in real life, but I want to keep him inside of the game. And obviously, you've seen the man on the thumbnail. That's who I'm going to be going for. No promises, but that's going to be the main aim. So we've simulated season 2, and these are going to be the players we brought in to go into that season with, so you can imagine what sort of season we had. We are going to bring in Big Kavar. I'm not going to say his full name, because I will simply butcher it, and I'm not trying to offend any fans at all. Now this guy was the main aim of this entire rebuild, to bring him in. He is such a good player, and as you can see, he actually had a very good first season. He cost me 116 million pounds, but don't have a heart attack. We could have spent that money anyway, just from the budget we got given. We also did sell players, but welcome in to what was one of the key reasons we've got a bit of a season that we cooked in, which we'll be seeing shortly. I also decided to pick up Inacio, coming in from Sporting. He sent me back a total of 51 million. He had a decent season, 7 goals in that season, a 7.18 average rating. Again, we did offload a big player. You can probably guess who that is at the back. So that money was used to fund this transfer, and what a transfer it appears to be. That is right, we did sell Virgil van Dijk. He is going to go to the Saudi League on £850,000 a week. We got £68 million for him. He's actually played quite a fair season in the Saudi Arabian League, but do you know what? Adios to him. He's had a great season, a great time at Liverpool, not just one season, a great several seasons, won big trophies, been an absolute legend at this club. I will use the word legend. Hopefully Liverpool fans agree with me. If you don't, I am sorry. But overall, for that price tag, you've got to wave goodbye to him. Mo Salah is going to join the Dutchman. That is going to be with Van Dijk. He's also going to go to the same team, this time on the free. And this is what's going to happen in real life. And he absolutely cooked, in my opinion. 28 goals, 13 assists, 7. 1.79 in his first season over in the Saudi League. He's on £1.4 million a week, but let's just be honest, he is a massive figure for that league. We also brought in a very realistic transfer, Mamardashvili, coming in from Valencia, a player who they basically seem to have captured in real life. He cost me 19 million, hasn't played too many games, of course. We still have Alisson. And I also pick up Seevald, a player who I absolutely love in this game. RB Leipzig, obviously RB Leipzig got to a Champions League final last season, so he must have had a decent season. If we go and see what we paid for him, we paid a total of 45 million. He played 35 games. I'm not too fussed on these stats because he's playing quite deep, so for me that really has no impact. But overall, a really strong sort of transfer window, and these are the results we got by bringing in some real big names like Mamardashvili, Seevald. Obviously we've got Kavar, we've got Anashio, we've lost some other players as well, but nothing really to cry about. But let's go and see what we've done in Season 2, because I think we've done pretty well. We're going to lift the Champions League. That is right. In Season 2, a 1-0 lead there from Kanate. A great set piece. We win the ball back there off Yagate, Sabosloy into Luis Diaz, who goes alone into the bottom right, past Donnarumma. They are going to get a goal here as a bit of a consolation, but it's not enough, and we are going to be your Champions League winners 2 seasons in. And someone run back-to-back double Premier League titles, because that is going to be what happened. 2 back-to-back league titles, and again, incredibly convincing. Darwin Núñez, top goal scorer. Diaz, Núñez and Robertson, best average rating. Diaz and Robertson second and third when it comes to the most assists, and it was a really strong season. Alisson second most amount of clean sheets, and what we are doing now is we are proving that with a great tactic and a couple of transfer windows, or one big transfer window, this is what Liverpool can do. They still have a real core good set of players. They just need their owners to get some money out of that pocket and put it into the team. I will be honest, everything else was almost what-if moments, because runners-up in the Community Shield, we lost on penalties against Manchester City, knocked out in the semi-finals in a Carabao Cup against Brentford. Only by, not many goals, but still, going out against Brentford is absolute heartbreak. And as you can see here, the semi-finals of the FA Cup, fair enough, it is against Man City, it was only by 1 goal. I suppose I can't really complain, a Premier League and a Champions League. But of course, I am aiming to try and win at least a quadruple, or maybe the 5 out of 5 when you have you got the Super Cup as well, for example. But for me, as Season 2, I am happy with that. And going over to the squad, we can actually go and see 46 goals from Darwin Núñez, 29 for McAllister, Kavar coming in with 24, 19 for Diaz, Anashio with 11, Jota with 11, Kanate with 9. That is another reason why you should get those set pieces, because these centre-backs are scoring almost 10 plus goals a season from 2 players, which is really strong. Assist-wise, you've got 19, 17, 16, 14, 13. Some real good contributions from the whole team. Obviously, both of the wing-backs who, you would expect to get the assists are doing that, and we've got to be careful because Trent's contract, obviously in real life you've got to be careful. On this game it's fine because I've offered him a new one, but he's another player in real life that might be looking to leave. Liverpool fans are on the edge of their seats, I would imagine, because a lot of big players can be going, and it's going to be scary times if the owners don't put some money back in. Now, looking at obviously our situation in this rebuild, the likes of Curtis Jones, you've got Timiskas, you've got Van der Berg, who I believe has gone in real life now, you've got Endo. Those are the only players I'm worrying about that are going to be leaving basically early next year. Now, for me, what I'm thinking here is the likes of Curtis Jones I want to keep. I might loan him, but I want to keep him. Timiskas, I can offload. Van der Berg, I can offload. Endo, I might keep for a little bit because he's a fairly new, a recent face into the team. Nothing special, not really a star player, but he'll get the job done. Alisson, I'm toying with, because if we get an offer anything over 50 million, he'll be getting sold. I'll say that. But the only way I'm going to get that is, if a team like the Saudi League come in, maybe in Newcastle, someone with basically pockets so full of money they don't even care how much they're spending. But we have been given a budget of £124 million to go and spend. It might be more, it is more. £143 million to go and spend. This is going to be the team we have at the moment. Of course, it is going to be that wonderful 4-3-3 we posted. And as you can see, this is going to be your start on 11. Now, it's good. It's still very similar to the original Liverpool start on 11, apart from obviously Seevald, Anashio, and the likes of Kavar on the left. The bench is looking okay, not that quality, and not enough of it. So let's get in to Season 3, and hopefully we can improve the team bit by bit. So after giving an absolute wonderful speech, we are going to wave goodbye to Endo. This is going to be at the end of Season 3. So we've done another season, and he actually had a couple of moves because he went to Benfica on the free, where he actually played quite a fair few amount of games. But he's now joining RB Leipzig, so clearly they don't like him either. Spent a little bit of that big budget on bringing in Aaron Hickey because we've got to be quite aware. Tomiskas we couldn't offload, unfortunately, but he is going to be getting sold. And if there's a time where Robertson wants to leave, I need to have a decent left back. This guy's probably not going to be as good as Robertson to replace him, but he can do the job as a backup, and he can also play perfectly as a right back. Now, the unfortunate thing when signing a player like this, when you have someone that's quite young, versatility, signed from the Premier League, and of course has done it in the Premier League, you spend big money. £61 million. He played 19 games in his first season, dropped to 7. It's average, it's okay, but for this season purely, he was the backup man. I said stuffer and prepared for the worst case scenario that Trent does get poached by Madrid or something in the future, because it can happen in this save, and we have gone over and picked up Fresneda. Now, we all know who he is, we know how good he is in this game. He cost me £71 million, and he actually played 24 games in a season where he was meant to be a bench player, so he's obviously played a fair few games. I would imagine maybe him and Trent are really going neck and neck to fight for that main right back position, but overall, a very exciting right back we've got now. We've got Fresneda and Trent, two of the best right backs in Football Manager. They call me Daily the Instalment Man because I have brought in Florian Wirtz, and it was done in instalments. We 85 million. I'm not going to lie to you guys, only 30 was paid up front, but he has come in and 38 games, by the way. He has literally had a flawless record, 7.36 with the average rating, a great amount of assists, a great amount of goals. I will say when it comes to the competitions, he didn't really play too much. I was rotating him out and having him mainly focused for that Premier League, but considering this is his first season, he had a great time. So that was actually going to be the last bit of business. As you can see, we had a few players going out on the free here with like Reece Williams, Carter and Ali, for example, but the main talks is going to be these 3 players here, which we've just gone over. So let's go and see what we've done in Season 3, and what we achieved doesn't warrant spending all that money. Well, into the FA Cup final against Leeds United, a team which, to be honest, I was very confident going in against because I know how good this team can be. And as you can see, it was Leeds sort of creating a rod for their own backs here to let us go 2-0 up. They were absolutely shambolic when it comes to the defence of Robertson finding Jota. That was a cracker of a shot, caught Moullier off guard, Diaz with the rebound, and we go again here. I believe this was an own goal from Tyrone Mings in the end. It was. Poor Tyrone. Carabao Cup against Man City. They knocked us out of a cup last season. What are we going to do? Well, they've got Kepa in goal, which is never a good sign, and Diaz is going to make it 1-0. Trent into Wirtz, back into Trent, a great ball in. Kepa again, coming out like a salmon and getting nowhere, and we wrap it up 3-0. Well, this might surprise you because we don't win the Champions League again. We actually lost in the semi-finals, but Brighton go on to beat Real Madrid 1-0 on penalties, so I can't really explain what I'm seeing, but if we go back a couple bits here, they played FC Cologne. Cologne and Brighton in a Champions League final is absolute madness. Times like this makes me question FM's realism, but overall, an interesting season, and we do actually go on and win the Premier League again, which is going to be 3 seasons back-to-back. It's getting boring now, it's too easy. McAllister, second, joint top goal scorer there. Florian Wirtz and Luis Diaz second and third with the average rating. Alisson second most clean sheets, and Trent joint first with Dalot and St Maximin when it comes to the most assists. So overall this season it was a positive. Also the Community Shield, I forgot to mention, a 2-0 win against Manchester City. So it is going to be the quadruple winning season I was after, but I am going to do one more season and try and have a quadruple with the Champions League in, because that really completes the perfect and a complete Champions League quadruple season I'm after. Now the squad we can go and have a little look at. We are going to be seeing 36 from Diaz, McAllister coming in with 33, 28 coming in there for Nunes, a bit of a fall off compared to the last seasons. 19, 17, 13, 12, 12, 10. I absolutely love this because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 players contributing 10 plus goals a season, which is beautiful, and the same goes for the assists. A lot of players contributing. Florian Wirtz thriving in the system, Robertson playing well, Diaz, Kavar. Beautiful play from this entire team. And the contract situation, again, I will say we haven't got to cry too much. I mean, we're going to worry any date in 2026, 2027. Gravenberch and Robertson are the only 2 people that I'm slightly worried about. Everybody else I will happily lose, whether it's on the free or for a little bit of money. But speaking of money, for the last season, we've got 113, no we haven't, we've got 176 million to go and spend in Season 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over, do our business, hopefully improve on the team. This team is good, but far from perfect. As you can see, the team is actually quite small. So we're going to try and focus in more quantity than necessarily big names in this season, just to bolster the team a little bit. But let's get into Season 4. We're going to offload Joe Gomez. To be honest, he never really hit the ground running. He was okay, and okay is that. Nothing really special. We are going to cash in and get a grand total of £34 million. Of course, he's played an entire season with Southampton, scored a couple of goals, not a bad entry season, but for us, it's a tidy bit of profit when we signed him from Charlton in 2015. Scass, unfortunately, we did not get a single penny for him, but he goes to Inter Milan, where he played 31 games in his first season, dropped to 7.13. That's actually quite good. First up, we are going to welcome in a man that has recently had a transfer to Aston Villa, and we have got him from Villa. That is going to be Onana coming in, just as a bit of a backup option in midfield / potentially first team in the future when he fights for that position. He come in and actually played 29 games for us in the Premier League and dropped to 6.98. Not a bad sort of record in his first season. We paid double of what Aston Villa done, but to be honest, you're going to do that. They brought him for 30. He had 3 seasons playing a lot of games. The value's going to increase. So I'm going to pick up Simakan from RB Leipzig, one of the best centre-backs you can go and buy. And as you can see right now, he played 37 games for us. We paid £41 million. He scored 5 goals, 2 player of the matches, and dropped a 7.11. It's an okay season, but with stats like this, I'm not going to lie, I know he can do better. Just poached another RB Leipzig player. We'll take the entire back line. We've taken Kanate, we've taken Luka Bea, we've taken Simakan. We'll have everyone because they've got some real hot talent. An incredible player you can see here, purely off the attributes alone. We paid 57 million. He played 37 games, 3 goals, 1 player of the match, and a 7.08 when it comes to the average rating. Again, very similar. He didn't play many cup competition games because he was getting rotated out, and I was making sure he wasn't playing, so I wanted to save him for the Premier League, and as you can see, it clearly worked. And we're also going to pick up a left back, and that is going to be Estepian. Believe it's how you say that, I do not want to butcher it. We are going to pick him up, and he set us back a total of £45 million, and he only played 8 games, and you can imagine why I've done this. Is because Robertson doesn't want to stay at the club. He doesn't want to stay, offered him a new contract, he hasn't left yet, he does not want to stay at the club, so this is going to be your first team left back going forward when you carry on this rebuild. But for me, it's a good replacement. It's really strong 4 players we've brought in. We spent a lot of money and the team was really, really strong, but of course, we're already into Season 4 now. How did we wrap up this rebuild? Did we win a Champions League? Did we win a Premier League? What did we do? We are going to win the Premier League again, which means it's going to be 4 times on the bounce. A quadruple back-to-back bounce of Premier League titles. Nunes top goal scorer, best average rating. Florian Wirtz in 3rd place. Wirtz and Diaz 1st and 2nd when it comes to the most assists. And Alisson, the most clean sheets. So a really, really strong season in that regard. Of course, we did win something else. Can you guess? Leave a little comment. It's going to be the Champions League final against PSG again, and another 1-0 win. Wasn't just that, because we go on and win the Carabao Cup 3-0 against Manchester City. The Community Shield, we are going to lift that as well, 2-0 against Man City. And the FA Cup, we lose 4-3 against Newcastle. So 1 goal, 1 final prevented us from doing the perfect complete sweep. So I technically got my wish of a quadruple with the Champions League, but I did not complete my own challenge. So that is going to be your challenge. So if you are going to pick up the rebuild file and the tactic, again, if you're on my Patreon for the tactics, you get the rebuilds. If you're on there for the rebuilds, you get the tactics. There's so much you can get. I'm going to pop it on the screen now, all of the perks. Your challenge is to take on this save and win every single trophy on this screen. So you've got to win the FA Cup, the Champions League, the Carabao Cup, the Community Shield, and the Premier League, all in one season. And also, I'm going to add a little bit of spice to it. For those of you that are good enough, those of you that think you are an FM mastermind, try to go invincible in the Premier League while doing that. You can make signings. You've got a budget of 70 odd million, more than that actually. You've got £107 million. You've got a team which absolutely thrives when it comes to scoring goals. We can see this now. 45 for Nunes, McAllister 26, 23, 16, 15, 13, 10, 9, 7. Loads of players with the assists. In general, we've actually got a really, really good team. Filter and buy the best 11. You've got Alisson, Fresneda, Simakan, Luka Bea, Robertson, Sivald, Wirtz, McAllister, Kavar, Diaz, Nunes. You've got Mamardashvili, Trent, Sabosloy, Gakpo, Hickey, Jota, Curtis Jones, Anasio, Onana, Elliott, Kanate, Gravenberch, search, you've got the whole package. I will eliminate Robertson because he is going to be leaving, I believe. So we are going to put in that left back, but you've still got a very strong team. You've got one of the best tactics to date. You're going to have a whale of a time. If you have enjoyed this rebuild, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Again, you can comment below what you want to see next, but do take on the challenge, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.